greedy belly. I know you now will speak. Ow, ow. You have cheese like a weak chin, blah blah blah. Greedy belly, get out.
Listen, Greedy Belly won last night against Marius Wack. Did you see that performance?
No.
Do we see AJ Greedy Belly next?
Yes. Of course.
How does it go?
I will hear. I will in ring.
How will it go?
AJ win.
How does he win?
Knock him out.
And to produce that kind of finish and knockout, the guy's got balls the size of, in the big, you know the bowling balls that are like, they say like 24 and you can hardly pick them up. They're like that, swinging off his old boy. Like, you've got to nail him into the canvas. And he makes mistakes. It was a terrible mistake that he made. He held on, he extended his arms. And Prenga's a monster puncher and he walks onto an uppercut and, you know, somehow he found a way to recover. But he went back, when he went back on that stool, what price was he to win that fight in the second round? I mean, it was unbelievable.
What's your response to them saying that?
Suck a
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. I got my own business to take care of, and what he does with his business is his own fault. Nothing to do with me.
Eddie Hearn or anybody else that really knows him and loves that man needs to sit him down, put their arm around him and say to him, you know what, you're a gazillionaire, you've got more money than walk away from the sport now before you can't walk away from the sport. Now, I think he's a little bit delusional in thinking that he can continue boxing. That's one sign. I'm not going to say he's punch drunk, but should he continue in the sport of boxing, that's where he'll end up. A cabbage, finished, gone.
Oleksandr Usyk did not hold back, blasting Tyson Fury with a brutal taunt after the Anthony Joshua fight that left the boxing world stunned.
Don't worry. Yeah, big Greedy Belly's coming for you.
Yes.
He's asking where is he?
Very stressed there, very stressed. Little bit. Very stressed.
He's asking you where is he?
Don't worry, Big GK's coming. Coming. First
Not missing a chance to humiliate Fury, Usyk also shared his thoughts on Anthony Joshua being dropped by Prenga.
Undisputed. And Alexander, is that for Anthony Joshua?
And Anthony Joshua is next undisputed champion.
Anthony Joshua's next undisputed champion. Tell me, what was you thinking when he went down in the first round?
First round, it's test, but AJ back. Yeah, it's boxing, you know. It's boxing, like uppercut, good. It's a knockdown. Yeah, AJ back and win.
But the second knockdown, and I'm close to AJ, I was even worried.
Greedy belly. I know you now will speak. Ow, ow. You have cheese like a weak chin, blah blah blah.
But the fight exposed Anthony Joshua's brutal weakness, and the boxing community is once again questioning whether his chin can still hold up.
Part about it, because again, you want to be sensitive around how he was going to come back after the car crash. I mean, again, 2 of his friends died. Mentally, that's a mind f***, and it's a horrible situation. He should never have to go through anything like this, let alone return to boxing. I said I'd have been just as fine if AJ retired after that car crash because he doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. But if he is going to come back, and he did, and we're talking about a Tyson Fury and AJ fight, but both guys have to fight before they get there, then we do have to be able to criticize his performance in the ring. Not him as a person. Yes, you can put the qualifiers in there.
As for Joshua, he admitted the first round knockdown helped him understand Prenga's speed and power, but insisted the real story was how he recovered and won.
You can't expect an easy night, you know. I think he's got something there. He's got something there. He's got a good bunch of support. And strong. He was strong. He caught me with a nice uppercut early on. And I was like, God damn. All right, weather the storm, kick the dirt off my shoulder and get the ball rolling again, really. But yeah, credit to him, you know, give our opponents the respect they deserve. And we're still here, man.
Even Eddie Hearn believed Joshua's career was over after that knockdown, but praised his courage to recover from the scare and take control of the fight.
You know, it's a weird feeling in the first round because All week I've been thinking to myself, has he come back too early? Do you know what I mean? And then when he got dropped, I was like, and I was also, I've got to be honest, I'm thinking, that's career over. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, you know what? I'm proud of him for even getting back in the ring. And if it ends like this, you know, I'm still, he should be really proud of the fact that he even returned to boxing. What did he have, 24 breaks in his ribs or something? I mean, couldn't move, was in hospital for weeks and weeks, lost his 2 best friends. To even be in the ring was incredible, but to come back from that and to produce that kind of finish and knockout, the guy's got balls.
Despite all the criticism, Joshua believes his power is still there, saying Prenga forced him to raise his level early and convinced him he can knock Fury out.
I got the power to.
Would you envision it though?
Yeah, now after today I've learned a lot. I know what I can do now. Well, I've always known, but I know I can do it. I know, I'm not wasting no time. I'm coming for it all.
Now the biggest fight everyone has been waiting for is finally within reach, but Joshua's latest performance has changed the conversation. Johnny Nelson was critical of Joshua after the knockdown, arguing it exposed the same defensive concerns that have followed him for years. Based on what he saw, Nelson believes he would now lean towards Fury getting the job done if the long-awaited showdown finally happens.
Toughy, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, listen, I'm an AJ fan, but I'd have to lean towards Tyson Fury's fluidity, his boxing ability, because that vulnerability from Anthony Joshua, getting caught by that sneaky little uppercut on the inside, getting caught again, put against the ropes in count, and got a standing count from the referee. These are natural shots from Tyson Fury. Now, when it comes to heart, determination, desire, and want, I put that in the corner of Anthony Joshua. But on last night's performance and on Friday night's performance, I'd have to lean towards Tyson Fury from what I've seen.
On the other hand, Tony Bellew sees it very differently. He has no issue with Joshua being dropped, believing the real story was the way he recovered and finished the job. In Bellew's view, Joshua is now a completely different fighter. He also argues that anyone questioning Joshua's mentality is ignoring the fact that a mentally weak fighter does not get up, regroup, and win convincingly.
I believe what I was seeing, but when that uppercut lands, it's a shot he doesn't see, and that's where all the damage is done in fights. And the main thing is he's got up, and the people who say the boy's not mentally right or mentally weak, show me a mentally weak man who gets off the floor twice and then puts your lights out. So there's a few shut up, isn't it? But I'm sure there's many more questions than there's actual answers there, but we're not going to know. The main thing is he figured it out. He got the job done, and just, yeah, wow.
Did you see him recovering from that first round?
Yeah, because his legs were strong underneath him. He gets up after going down twice, and his legs are there, his legs are strong, and that for me.
Meanwhile, Prenga's manager Keith Sullivan criticized the referee's decision to let the fight continue. He believes Prenga proved the true power of his punches against a heavyweight like Joshua, which had been his message throughout the build-up. Sullivan argued the contest should have been stopped in the first round, claiming Joshua suffered 3 knockdowns before being allowed to continue.
Put him on his here in Jeddah tonight. And I think if you go back and look at the tape, that fight should have been called because the ropes held him up on that, what would have been the third and final knockdown in the first round. But, you know, he let off the gas a little bit. We have to be constructive in our criticism. He let off the gas a little bit, and I think if he continued to press forward and press the action, we walk out of here on top of the world. I think it's a game changer.
Yeah. So in your fight, do you feel like the fight should have been stopped in the first round then?
You know, I'll go back and take a look. Like, I'm obviously biased. I'm going to be pretty fair about that. But when I saw the ropes hold him up, I felt that should have been scored as a knockdown. And I think there was another knockdown after that, which would have made 3 knockdowns, and the fight would have been called in the first round. But just to do what he did to AJ in that first round goes to show.
As for Prenga, he accepted the defeat and admitted things did not go according to his plan of stopping Joshua. Despite the attention surrounding his knockdown of Joshua, he revealed that the moment brings little satisfaction. Instead, Prenga says he is emotionally devastated because he failed to secure the victory he had worked so hard to achieve, making the loss far more painful than the headline.
I can make money, but I'm not just fighting for myself. Everybody maybe fight for himself, but I fight for all my fans, all my team, all my country. And I want to make it proud, and it's not happened. I know everybody is proud, but it's not, for me, it's not proud. I need a winner to make it proud, everybody.
Joshua is facing serious criticism after the Prenga fight, with Duke McKenzie making an emotional plea for him to retire. In his view, Joshua has already secured his legacy, and what the boxing world witnessed against Prenga was a fighter whose best days are behind him. McKenzie believes Joshua should forget about fighting Fury, walk away from the sport, and leave the ring with his reputation intact.
All the money that he's gone cannot buy his health. You know, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Everybody saw last night with their own eyes, he was supposed to wipe that floor with that man that he boxed last night. And yet the wind blew and he could barely stand up. So this is a heartfelt plea to Anthony Joshua. You've got your health, you've got your wealth. Walk away from the sport now. You don't need to fight again. You certainly don't need to fight Tyson Fury. Your name is cemented. It's a legacy. You've got history. You've got everything you could possibly want.
Insisting that health matters more than anything else, McKenzie says Joshua has nothing left to prove. He believes chasing another big fight is only feeding false hope rather than reality. In his opinion, being hurt by Prenga's uppercut and jab was clear evidence that Joshua is no longer the fighter he once was, making retirement the smartest decision for his future.
Here to you, walk away from the sport now, because it's finished. It's over. You don't need to prove anything. You're a two-time heavyweight world champion. You don't need to say I'm a three-time heavyweight world champion. It means nothing ultimately at the end of the day, because your health is far more important. So please, walk away from boxing now, because it's not a game. And when you look at what happened in the cold light of day yesterday, that was a shocking performance. People can and ah and jump up and down and go, cool, you know what? You turned it around, you got up, you knocked the guy out and A, B, C, D. But you got to look at what happened, obviously, before that.
At a time when everyone is praising Prenga for dropping Joshua, Paulie Malignaggi focused on a different side of the fight. He argued Prenga's overall boxing ability looked limited, saying his attacks lacked patience and smart timing. According to Malignaggi, boxing is about far more than throwing punches, and he believes Prenga walked straight into Joshua's trap, allowing himself to get caught and eventually stop.
You don't have to be a Mensa to know that you were throwing punches and it worked. So you just keep throwing punches. You know, I mean, I don't understand where the stoppage in throwing punches happened. Either way, a guy like AJ who's been at world class, say what you want about a guy who like AJ who's been at world class, he may not be world class now, whatever your opinion is, he's been at world class. He knows that as soon as you give him a moment, you give him a little bit of daylight to get back in the fight, he will take that because he is a world class operator in his mind, even if physically he may not be the same. So obviously once Prenga did not go into attack mode, what did AJ do? He started getting his lead hand busy and he set up the right hands that eventually ended the fight. And of course Prenga is what he is, low level of opposition. Once he's getting hit by a guy like AJ, it's going to change his life around in the wrong way, in a negative way. Now he's going to be like, wow, this hurts and I'm going down, you know? So
Paulie Malignaggi also floated a conspiracy theory, stressing he was not claiming it actually happened. He suggested there was a possibility Prenga's corner may have told him to ease off after the first round and think about future paydays. According to Paulie, boxing politics and the huge money behind a Fury versus Joshua fight could have created pressure to keep Joshua from suffering another defeat.
I think happened, but I gotta put the thought out there at least. You know, there is a lot of money riding on AJ and Fury. There's a lot of money on AJ and Fury. Everybody makes a lot of money, including the fighters, but not just the fighters. A lot of powerful people make a lot of money if you make AJ versus Fury. So is it possible that somebody whispered into the Prenga corner? Is it? I'm just giving a conspiracy theory to you. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
This is what we want to hear, Paulie. This is what we want to hear.
It's funny. These things sound outlandish until they come to light. If sometimes you get caught and it comes to light. I'm not saying this is what happened, but from the way it looked, possibly somebody went into the Prenga corner and said, "Hey, man, listen, you've never made any real money in your life. You know, if you."
Simon Jordan even questioned the legitimacy of the fight, suggesting the dramatic shift after the first round looked suspicious and fueled speculation that bigger financial interests were at play. He took to Twitter saying, "Not having that #Anthony Joshua fight, drop twice and sets the tempo, how's that? Prenga totally different in second something. Not quite right. All designed to rinse maximum amount of money." Firing back at Simon Jordan, Matchroom Boxing CEO Frank Smith delivered a fierce response. He described the fixed fight fight allegations as bizarre and completely unacceptable, urging Simon to stop making such claims without evidence. Smith also challenged him to explain exactly what he meant on his radio show, insisting accusations of that magnitude should be backed up instead of casually thrown into the public.
Jordan was hinting at a potential fix. I don't know if you've seen the tweet. What did you get out of that?
Yeah,
I'm struggling to really understand it fully.
Yeah, I mean, Simon does talk some waffle, doesn't he? So there's no difference here. I mean, it is quite a wild accusation, if that's what he's suggesting. And I even reading.
Do you think that's what he's suggesting?
I mean, it's hard to read it any differently. But reading all the comments, everyone seems to say the same thing. Shut up, Simon. You know, what a wally. But I'm sure he'll explain himself in his radio show.
Is that something you guys can take action over? That's quite a serious allegation in a professional
if
sporting
he doubles
event.
down and says he, you know, I don't know. Look, again, it's Simon Jordan, isn't it? He's the king of being divisive.
More than providing answers, Joshua's performance raised even bigger questions. Dave Coldwell acknowledged his fighting spirit and the power he showed, but remained deeply concerned about his punch resistance. According to Coldwell, what he witnessed convinced him that Joshua's ability to absorb clean shots is no longer what it once was, making future fights against elite heavyweights an even greater risk.
You know, it can have those sort of effects. But having said that, it wasn't like just a flash knockdown in the fact that he goes down, gets up, and his legs are fine, and it carries on. We've seen those kind of knockdowns. It was a shot that his legs stiffened right up, you know, and in the ensuing attack, and he gets hit with a glancing right hand that literally throws him into the ropes. And you know, he's in all sorts of trouble. He's you know, when he's grabbing hold, his legs are wooden and stiff. I just don't think there's.
Furthermore, Coldwell pointed to several other warning signs beyond Joshua's punch resistance. He believes the way Joshua reacted after being dropped showed he is no longer the fighter he once was. Coldwell found it even more surprising because Joshua has shared the ring with far heavier punchers than Prenga, yet still looked uncomfortable and reacted awkwardly when caught with clean shots.
It's not. AJ has fought bigger punchers than Prenga, and he's beaten bigger punchers than Prenga. He's beaten better fighters than Prenga. And if he's had to, he's nullified him. But it's the way that he reacted to when he got hit, and it's the way that his body, not him, his body, him as himself, you know, he rode it out and he got through it, and you know, he still had the confidence to go in there and let his hands go. But in terms of how his body goes and his body reacts, it wasn't good to see. And to me, it looked like a fighter that's a shell of what it once was.
On the other hand, Derek Chisora believes the discussion around punch resistance is pointless. In his view, there is nothing wrong with a fighter getting hurt, and the real test is how they respond. He argues that if Joshua's punch resistance was truly gone, he would not have been able to recover and stop Prenga later. For Chisora, only future fights can reveal the truth.
I don't give a f. I just want him to fight Tyson Fury. All this shit, all this nonsense you guys are referring, you guys are not doctors. He's
right.
We are not doctors. We can't say punch resistant or he's done. We are not. He's the only guy who can decide for himself he's done. Yeah. He looks good. When he gets his hands going, he looks good. Yeah. He just came in the ring, fell asleep. He got knocked the and he woke up. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah? If you had to come in and knock this guy in first round, they said, oh, he should have. But there's nothing wrong with that, and that gives you something to talk about. There's nothing wrong with.
Instead, he believes the version of Fury seen against Mariusz Wach was concerning. Chisora argues Fury's inactivity has lasted longer than Joshua's, with other distractions outside boxing affecting him. He says Fury's 2 warm-up fights were boring, even claiming Turki Alalshik struggled to stay interested. In his view, Joshua still has the hunger, skills, and boxing ability, while Fury is the one lacking those qualities.
He hasn't boxed for a year and a half, like a proper fight. After he lost to Usyk, you took your year out, yeah? He started filming his Netflix show, yeah? He came back, yeah, with a warm-up fight at Tottenham, which was a bit of a stinker. Even Dr. Rakan fell asleep on on the ringside watching it, even though Takeo Sheik was getting panicking, yeah? And then you realize, you know what, I'm not up to scratch, I need to have another fight. He did another fight in Timbuktu, yeah?
Thailand, yeah.
Yeah. He didn't want to show it because he knows he's not up to scratch. Because remember, these guys have been out for a year, so he's just trying to catch up on his boxing skills.
But the criticism continues to grow, with Steve Bunce giving a brutal assessment of the Prenga fight. In his view, a fighter many people dismissed came dangerously close to a huge upset. Bunce believes Joshua looked badly hurt when he went down, and if the first round had continued for longer, Joshua may have been stopped by Prenga before getting the chance to recover.
3 times. The rope saved him once, definitely, and then he touches down again when he gets clipped high on the head. He falls forward, touches the ground. That's a knockdown. You don't have to be sprawled out on your back. So it's 2 knockdowns, but it could have been 3 because the ropes definitely saved him. But more than that, he was out on his feet. He was reeling. He was hurt. He was in desperate trouble. He was half a shot away from being stopped in the opening round by a man who none of us gave even a puncher's chance. Let's get it right. We built up Kristian Prenga's 20 knockout wins.
Joshua's future has never been surrounded by more questions, and the debate over Fury versus Joshua has only become hotter. Was this a warning sign or proof of his comeback spirit? Let us know your prediction in the comments. Subscribe for more boxing stories, updates, and the biggest fights shaping the sport.